はい、こんにちは。
こんにちは。
男女のパートナーシップ研究所、夫の深夜と
妻のさやです。
よろしくお願いします。今日はですね、ゲストをお呼びしてパートナーシップ事情についていろいろ聞いてみたいなと思いまして、今回ねインターナショナルな、ゲストをお呼びしました。はい、カナダからクリスさんです。イエーイ。
はじめまして。
クリスさんはですね、今日本にしばらく住んでて、でもうすぐ日本を立たれるということで、クリスさんがカナダの生まれ育ちですので、カナダでどんな、このパートナーシップ教育を受けているのかとかね、カナダの人たちがどんな感じで、普段、このパートナーシップを営んでいるのかってところをね、いろいろ聞いていきたいなと。
国際的なね、
そうです。
ということで、
はい、ちょっと日本だけじゃなくって世界の人たちはどうなのかというねお話をしていきたいと思います。はい。で、クリスさんは今ですね、彼女さんが今ねここにいらっしゃいまして、はい、ちょっとねいろいろお話を聞きながらいきたいなと思いますのでよろしくお願いします。
なんでね、自分の国の人以外と付き合うときに、どんなことに気をつけてるかとか、そういうのをきっと参考にもなるかなと思うので。
確かに、そう国際恋愛をされてますのでね、違う国のね、人とお付き合いされてますのでね。じゃあそうだね。Okay, Chris. Can you introduce a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Yeah. My name is Chris. I'm from Canada. I've been teaching English online as a tutor for a few years now. I mostly talk to Japanese students, and I really love Japan. And I'm here with my girlfriend, who is off camera. She's a little camera shy, but she might help me with some questions or fact check me as we have this interview.
Yes, thank you. We are excited about hearing your story.
I hope so. I hope I give you good information today.
Thank you. So first of all, we want to talk about the differences between Japanese relationship education and Western relationship education.
Right.
So do you think Japan is a little bit behind Western culture when it comes to relationships?
When it comes to relationships.
What do you think?
I see. If I say behind, that'll be a bit controversial. I do definitely think Japan and the West at large are kind of in different places when it comes to relationships. So I won't say behind, but I'll say it does feel like they're different.
Yeah. So I heard that in Western culture, people are educated. Yeah, especially younger people are more educated when it comes to relationships. I heard. So what do you think about that? In Japan, Japanese schools never teach relationships. And we never have any opportunities to learn how to, ask out girls for men and how to maintain a good relationship with your partner.
Right. I see. I see. Yes. How do I feel about that? I would say in formal education, and you can check me on this too, I didn't really learn anything to do with relationships at school. Like we didn't have classes about relationships. Like at most, maybe there's a sex education class in high school one day. But when it comes to relationships, these days, maybe what I'm hearing is that while there's maybe no formal education on it in high school, I think people are becoming more respectful when it comes to like how boys treat girls or men treating women, like how to properly treat them and respect them. So I think those ideas are becoming more common, I think. Feel free to fact check me again. But I didn't really learn anything from my teachers in a dedicated class. But that was when I was in high school, which was more than a decade ago, and I think maybe things could be different now a little bit.
I see. Yeah. And then you already knew the 5 love languages when I told about it?
Oh, yes.
So where did you learn that?
Where did I learn that?
Yeah.
Good question.
It sounds like it's a common language among Westerners, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. From my experience, 2 out of 1 Westerners know about the 5 love languages, which is really not common in Japan at all.
Yeah, good question. I think I learned about them online.
Online.
Online, I read about them did a little test to find out my own love language. Same for my girlfriend as well. And I think I've been living, before Japan, I was living in Australia for a few years. And the people that I met there, the friends that I made in Australia, really open to talk about relationships and talk about themselves. And most of those friends I made, they know about the 5 love languages. Whereas maybe I have some friends in Canada who, mostly guys that I know in Canada, and maybe some of them know about the love languages, some of them don't. But yeah, I think most of our friend group in Australia, they're very familiar with that kind of thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you talked about the 5 love languages a lot between
Yeah.
your friends.
Yeah, like they know about it.
It's common.
It's pretty semi-common. Semi-common.
I see.
Depends on the group, but I would say if I had to guess, in general,
Yeah.
like in the West and Japan, I feel like the love languages are more widely known in the West.
Oh, wow.
Yes, not to say that all my friends know about them or none of them do, but my friends who are willing to talk about this stuff and open about it definitely know about that concept.
I see. Do you think it helps people, Western people, to maintain good relationship?
I do. I do. I think any reason to think about your relationship or how you think or why you feel the way that you do or why your partner feels the way that they do makes for a better relationship. Just more information and more self-understanding.
Yeah. Right. And I think it's good. You know, it's good to talk about the 5 love languages.
Right.
You know, between your friends and between, you know, with your partner.
Right.
Yeah, it's a common language, right? So what do you think is yours, the primary love language?
Yes, my primary love language. I'm going to look over here to double check my girlfriend. But we've talked about this, and for me, it would be kind of physical touch and maybe quality time as a close second. Yeah, and for my girlfriend, they're kind of the same.
Mine's similar, also acts of service.
Acts of service, yes.
Service.
Yes, acts of service is very important for her, so I try to wash the dishes.
That is important.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And do you think it works?
I do. I do, because now when I think about those things, it's like there's a way I understand how I know I will feel more loved. And sometimes I assume that's the same for her. So I need a hug sometimes.
Right.
And sometimes I will do that for her, but maybe she needs me to clean up or wash the dishes or do something, help her out, bring her a little, like, maybe a gift too, gifts as well.
Oh, gift.
That makes her feel loved.
I see.
Maybe not so much for me, where a gift is nice, of course, but yeah, I kind of need that touch or quality time.
I see. Yeah, we are similar. Yeah. My primary love language is physical touch.
Right.
And hers is acts of service.
Right.
Yeah. I have to wash the dishes.
Yes.
And I actually got a dishwasher this year
Oh, omedetou.
to make it efficient. Yeah.
Yes, very useful. Very useful.
Yeah. Thank you. And one more thing. So your girlfriend is from Australia.
That's
and you're
right.
from Canada.
Right.
Right? So did you have any challenges to keep your relationship?
Yes. Feel free to chime in for this part too. I guess the biggest challenge there wasn't really cultural, but just like the physical distance.
Oh, yes.
And when I met her, she was on a visa in Canada, and then her visa ended. So she went back to Australia, of course.
Yeah.
So we were long distance for a long time. And I guess that would be the hardest part, because I think both being Western countries, I don't think there was anything difficult there. Just that we were from different places, and we from very different time zones. A lot of late nights for me, staying up.
Yeah, right.
So I can call her, things like that. But yeah, different times, different places.
Right.
But now we're both here. So
Yeah.
そういう時訳してもらってもいい？タッチの人がその距離が遠いかったりこう会えないとタッチを満たすのが難しいと思うんだけど、そこはどういうふうにしてたのかなっていう。
It's difficult to feel your love tank.
Exactly.
When your love, the first love language is physical touch.
Right.
You are away from her.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
How did you deal with that?
That's a good question. That's a good question. How did I deal with that?
I guess
How did you
we
survive?
tried to like spend more time with each other with like video call.
Video calls
Yes. I guess so.
for
Yeah.
you.
Both
For her,
of us.
for him.
I guess for both of us.
Both of you.
Because I think quality time is also important for me. So
yeah.
maybe what happened there was I started, because physical touch wasn't possible. So I started maybe putting more importance on quality time. And that's how I understood if we were both happy or feeling loved or feeling good about our relationship was we're spending more time focused on each other or just even watching things together or playing games together.
Online. you mean?
Online.
That's a good way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, things like that. And I think I was just really busy at the time, too. Like because I was planning to go on Australia, so I was studying and like working part time to save up money for Australia. So maybe that's not a healthy way to deal with it, but I was also very, very busy all the time.
I see. So you were kind of like distracted.
Yeah, I was distracted, and when I wasn't, then we would always video call or
good.
watch or play something.
For how long?
For a while, it was. Am I
An hour or two.
like every day?
Every
pretty
day?
much?
Hour or two?
Not every day.
Not every day.
Every few days.
Every few days.
Depending on if we were busy.
Yeah.
I see.
I think even just we would call each other just to have company, so not necessarily doing anything together, just kind of doing our own thing, but having each other on the call at the same time.
Right. We would just kind of exist together. So calls, maybe I'm doing something, she's doing something else. But we can always chime in.
Yeah.
Like, how's your cooking going? How's your...
Even
Yeah.
if you don't talk,
Right.
You feel that she
Right.
existed.
Yeah.
There was a presence there.
I see, I see. It was like you were in the same room.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Doing
Yeah.
different things.
As closely as we could. Yeah.
That's a good.
And we did that for maybe a year? Almost?
Maybe almost a year.
Almost
a year.
We did it a few times.
Yeah.
Because I was traveling in Canada, so we were in different provinces at some kind of like different points. But I think also knowing when we would see each other again was really important. So we had like something to look forward to.
That's true. Like, there were times when she was living in Canada and I was in Vancouver, but she might be in Montreal or Toronto. So I would visit her in Montreal, but I always knew there was a next time when I was leaving, that I was going to see her again in Toronto or another place. Or we would meet. We met in New York one time. So we always had, you're always kind of looking forward to a meeting when you're in a long distance relationship, and then you meet and then you have to say goodbye. But as long as you have a next time to meet again, it was easier.
I see. Wow. I heard that this is from book, and when your first love language is physical touch, if some items of her is with you, it can be helpful. Do you think it works?
I could see that working.
Did you try that?
I didn't even realize, I didn't even think of that at the time, but I could see that being really nice. I'm trying to think if I had anything of yours while you were away. I don't think so either. But I know for you, weirdly, that's a good thing. Like if you have one of my t-shirts.
Yeah, it like smells like.
Yeah, but I guess I didn't even think of that
I see.
at the time, to have something of hers. But I could see that being nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. What about cultural differences? She's from Australia and you're from Canada. Did you find any differences, like when like a relationship, like customs or other stuff?
Right. I feel like we were probably I think we understood each other very well.
Yeah.
Like I think culturally, value-wise, I don't think there was anything too different.
Yeah, and I think we understood each other as well because we're both Asian. Like my background is Chinese, Malaysian, and then he's half Filipino.
Right.
So we understood growing up with Asian parents or
Right.
an Asian parent in the West because it's a different experience than growing up in Asia.
Yeah. That's another thing where you might have two Canadians, but they might actually come from very different backgrounds. So I had one immigrant parent, so a lot of things she said to me still made sense. But if I talk to like friends who don't have immigrant parents, then I might say something that doesn't really make sense to them.
I see.
Yeah.
So your parent, one of
Right.
your parents, is
Right.
from Asian country?
Yeah, she's from the Philippines.
Philippines.
My mom.
I see. So you understood the Asian culture
Right.
deeper,
Right.
I think,
Exactly.
than other Canadian, like native Canadian
Right.
people.
Yeah, so it's like one of my friends, both his parents are from Canada, his grandparents are from Canada for many generations. So not that, I don't think this is a stereotype, but he's very relaxed. Like if I was gonna stay out late, I'd have to like call my mom and be like, Mom, I'm gonna be out later than 8 p.m. today. And she might be really angry and I might have to go home.
Nice.
But he would always, how would I put it? I remember in my friend group, everyone was Asian Canadian except for one person. And every time we hung out, our phones would ring and our parents would wonder where we are and what we were doing. Like how long you're staying out, where are you right now? But my friend who's like Canadian and his parents are Canadian, he never really got that phone call.
I see.
And he was like, does my dad love me? But his dad was just super relaxed. And his dad trusted him and he's relaxed. So it felt like even though we were all from Canada, there was kind of different values we were coming from.
Right. And Canada has a lot of diversity, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting. I see. So you didn't feel any like relationship, barriers, cultural barriers.
I don't think so. I think with Canada and Australia, it's kind of like Canada and the US, where they're different places and maybe there's some differences, but they're more the same than the difference,
I see.
in my opinion.
Yeah. Thank you. The next topic is how you start relationships. How people start relationships. In Japan, there's a custom, like a traditional custom, where men have to confess their love to their favorite woman.
Right.
Like, okay, will you be my girlfriend? I did that. Actually.
Right.
I did that at Disneyland, Disney Sea.
Oh, wow.
東京タワーかどう話かと思った
Tokyo Tower, yeah, Tokyo Tower, and I did it twice actually.
Right.
She refused me at the beginning.
Oh.
Yeah, my first attempt failed.
Oh. Aha.
Yeah, she said no. You're
Right.
too old. You're too far. You live too far. But I never gave up, and then I confessed my love to her again
Right.
on the top of Tokyo Tower
For the second time.
for the second time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that time worked.
Yeah, it worked.
I see. So you like Tokyo Tower more than Disney Sea.
Not really. Yeah, we had enough time to know each other, get to know
Right.
each other. After my first confession of love.
I see. I see. So more time together. Interesting. I'm curious what happened that changed your mind?
その1回目の告白と2回目の告白の間に何があったの？
あれをしましたね。お互いのルーツを知るツアーをしましたね。静岡に住んでいたので、一緒に行って、でこういうどこでどんな風に過ごしてたかみたいなのをドライブをしながら教えてもらったっていうのがありますね。ここが学校でとか、ここで働いててとかね、全部聞いたよね。
So she came to Shizuoka,
Right.
and then we went for a drive, and then I explained how I grew up in Shizuoka, and we visited the places I worked at or school, like high
Right.
school. My high school is here, just over there. Okay, next. my first, the first company I worked for is
Oh, wow.
over there.
Right.
And the second one is here.
Oh.
お互いをよく知ったってことだね。
So we got to know each other like well,
Right.
deeper.
I see. So it was kind of like you didn't know where he was from. Like, where did he work? What is your backgrounds? I've never been to Shizuoka, but you came to Shizuoka, got to know
Right.
Shinya better.
And I did the same way. I visited Tokyo and I went to her university. Then we had lunch
Right.
there, like a college cafeteria.
Right. I see. I see. At Tokyo University. Or
青山.
Aoyama.
University.
Right. Of course. Of course. I just remembered it was a very big, fancy university.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I was surprised to see that.
Yes.
You know how fancy it was.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. And we ate lunch that she
Right.
used to eat. So, yeah.
What was the favorite lunch at your
Favorite
university?
lunch?
学校の
カレーライス。
結構青学はすごく学食1位1位おいしさなんか何かで1位取ってて結構いろんなこだわりがあってなんか日替わりランチなんかシェフの気まぐれランチとかあったの覚えてる、500円以下で食べる、
Best cafeteria. Lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky student.
A lot of menus
Right.
あんま覚えてないってことじ
あだからそのシェフの気まぐれメニューみたいな
ゃん。Today's special. Chef's today's special.
Of course. So always whatever the special was. Naruhodo. Right. Sorry to sidetrack us.
Yeah, no
I was
problem.
interested.
Yeah, no problem. And then I heard that Western women are more aggressive, yeah, toward relationships.
Right.
So what do you think about that?
Yes. Yes. I definitely think so. Not all women, but I think generally, like Western women compared to Japanese women, what I understand these days is more and more Western women are taking the initiative to go after people that they like.
Oh,
So,
I see.
of course, some women don't and want to be chased, but more of my friends and more people I meet are deciding for themselves that, oh, I want to, if I like him, if I like them, I'm just going to ask them out. And it kind of feels like there's more power in that. Because otherwise, and this is the idea, is that if I'm waiting to be acted upon, I have less power. And I just have to wait for him to go after me. And I can give him signs and signals, but maybe he doesn't understand, and I'm wasting my time. So to not waste my time, I'm just gonna ask him out
I see.
and kind of take that power. So not all women, but I am seeing that becoming more common among my friends in Canada, in Australia.
I see. Like time efficient, maybe.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
see. And probably after having the relationship, maybe they will have more control over, I guess. Do you think?
Like in the relationship.
In the relationship, they can take initiative.
Yes.
It depends.
Yeah, it depends,
depends.
but what would an example of that be, you think?
For example, for Japanese women, tend to wait for men to ask them out,
Right.
and then also they want them to make
察してほしい
plans.
とか。
察してほしいね。察してほしいはなんて言えばいいかな。They
言わな
want
くて
them
も
to understand what they want without telling them. Without telling them.
Yes.
Read me.
Right. Right.
Read me.
Yes.
Don't make me say, tell you what I want you to do.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, definitely from what I've seen in Japan, that's very, very common. I think that also happens in the West, but I think a lot more people are very direct about how they feel and communicate how they feel. So a lot more women, women and men these days, kind of are very like introspective and understand what they need, and they communicate those things. Like maybe in a past relationship, my partner was like this, and it I didn't like that, so I really need you to be a certain way, more communicative with me. I need you to talk to me more. I need you to tell me about your day because I like that and I feel loved. So not everyone, but I do think in general there are probably more people, women, men in the West who say what's going on here
Yeah, right.
very easily.
But probably that's a cultural difference.
Yeah.
Japan is a homogeneous community, so they can read each other well.
Right. Yes, that's another thing. When I was growing up, people were always like, everyone was telling me this, but like they would say, I can't read your mind, you have to tell me. You have to say it directly. So that's a very common lesson when I was growing up. So coming here, it's like, I feel a little more comfortable not having to say everything a little bit.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. And then, what about your situation?
Right.
Did you ask her out first, or did she ask you out first?
Yes. So, yeah, our situation was actually more Japanese I
way?
guess. Yes, where we were spending a lot of time together and hanging out. And then eventually I confessed to her that I liked her.
Oh.
And then we started dating. But yes, maybe it was very obvious at the time that we liked each other and we were spending time together. So I confessed when I was 99.9999% sure that she felt the same way. But there was that tiny percent that was making me, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong
I
about
see.
this.
Yeah.
But yes, I kokuhaku'd her and then we dated.
Great. And then maybe your girlfriend was waiting for you. And she
Probably.
already knew that.
Yes. she's nodding.
I see.
Yes.
I see. Good.
どう思ったかちょっと
Yeah, very Japanese way. So what did you think about that?
Yeah, I think we both knew that we liked each other, but we didn't want to say it out loud. But we were pretty much friends instantly, I'd say, when we first met, and we would hang out a lot with other friends, and then slowly we would hang out just the two of us together. And then I think that naturally progressed into feelings that were romantic. And I guess the difference is that we didn't plan to like confess. It just sort of like, it was like a natural moment that
Right.
was like more emotional, I'd say, than it
Yes.
was like logical.
Yeah, it wasn't planned.
You didn't plan ahead.
No, it just kind of happens, actually.
I see. That's good. Yeah. I planned ahead and I failed.
Right, yeah, you had a plan. Right. Very Japanese.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you had a backup plan,
Yeah.
and it succeeded.
Yeah. Right.
Right. Right.
Right. Well, we learned a lot, actually.
And I had fun talking about this
Yeah.
as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, international relationship is really interesting, right?
Yes.
A lot of Japanese people give up on their marriage, or they give up having a relationship. But when you look into it like a wider angle, then you can find partners like abroad or in the world. Right?
Yes. Yes. If you want a partner abroad, you can do it.
Yeah.
そうだ、なんか一つ聞いておきたい、日本人だと日本人同士だといろいろ背景分かってるけど、その国際的な人と付き合うときに、なんかそのバックグラウンドとかどういうふうに知っておいた方がいいのかとか、ルーツみたいなのとか、なんか知っておいた方がいいのかなっていう、なんかこっちの当たり前で話しちゃうと傷つけちゃうこととかもあるのかなと思ったりするんだけど。
So when you have a relationship with a person who is from a different country, how do you think you can overcome the differences? For example, when you say something without any care, you might hurt her, right? So because of the cultural background.
Right.
So what kind of things did you share before starting dating?
Yes. Good question. I think, so for me, because I think we're so similar, I think it was okay. But if I'm imagining, you know, two people dating from very different backgrounds culturally, I would imagine that kind of just having an open mind and listening to them and understanding that maybe you think these things are good might not mean that they think these things are good too. Like it could be the opposite.
Right.
And instead of arguing and fighting about that, trying to listen to this and them trying to listen to this and understand why they feel this way. Like if we think of an American dating someone from Japan, maybe the American is really direct and really communicative.
Yeah.
And maybe it would be good for them to try to listen more to their Japanese partner, and maybe for their Japanese partner, maybe to share more to their American partner. But I think the big difference is just that trying to like meet in the middle. I imagine is the thing that will make certain relationships of different cultural backgrounds work or not. Just trying.
Right.
Is
You
my
have to express everything verbally, right?
right.
Yeah.
Or trying to do that as comfortably as you can. Like even if, let's say, this Japanese person, maybe it's really hard to express themselves, but as long as they're trying and expressing something, and maybe the American is trying to listen more and trying to not read their mind, but trying to read their Japanese partner's mind. Yes,
Yeah.
the effort. I
Effort.
think.
Yeah, I see. Understanding each other.
Right. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Yeah, we had a good time.
Me too.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your thoughts and experience.
Yes,
Yeah.
you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
It's good talking to you guys.
Thank you. はい、ということで今回はね、クリスさんに、国際恋愛についてね、お話しいただきましたがいかがだったでしょうか。やっぱねちょっとウエスタンカルチャー西洋と日本ってねちょっと文化的な違いもあったり、あとは、その教育ですね。その男女のパートナーシップに対する教育とかも結構違ってるなという印象があって、あとやっぱ印象深かったのは女性からこう告白していくというか、女性からこうリードしていくっていう文化があるんだなっていうのはねすごく感じましたね。であとはそのやっぱり違う国の人同士で付き合う時のこの常識の違いみたいのをね、こうお互いに当たり前と思ってることをこうちゃんと伝え合うっていうことをしないとやっぱうまくいかないんだよねっていう
日本人はなかなか言葉にするのがね、こう苦手というかしてないからね、してなくても伝わるっていう文化だから、そこ気をつけなきゃいけないんだなって思いました。
でこれは多分日本人同士でも言えることなんじゃないかなと思ってて、やっぱ男女の違いっていうのはすごい思った以上に僕らはやっぱ大きいと思うので、そこはやっぱ伝えていく、ちゃんと言葉にして伝え合うってことをしないと、言わなくても分かるはずってお互いが思っているとね、なかなかこの関係を維持するの難しいなっていうのはね、感じた、今日のインタビューでした。はい、ということでクリスさん今日はありがとうございました。 Thank you。
ありがとうございました。
はい、では以上です。僕たちと一緒にパートナーシップを学びながら
人生豊かにしていきましょう。